Are there any updates to these fast-moving developments that you can tell us about, and also what this means for Russia overall, including in its war against Ukraine?
Well, the president's been staying up to speed on all events in Syria, of course, all throughout yesterday and then into the evening, and he'll get an update this morning. He's watching this, as you might expect, very, very closely. And I think, as he said yesterday, you'll see him engage with his counterparts in the region over the course of the coming days on the phone to make sure that we all have the same common sight picture and that we are all working towards the same goal, which is a Syria that can be governed effectively and efficiently and meeting the aspirations of the Syrian people. Because Jeremy's right, a stable Syria does absolutely affect our national security interests, not just there in the region, but elsewhere around the world. Now, as for the war in Ukraine, what I can tell you is that the Russians continue to make some plotting progress in the east. They're still active fighting around Kursk. As you know, the Ukrainians put some troops in the Kursk Oblast. They're still going at it. The North Korean soldiers are still involved in that fighting. And what we're trying to do is surge assistance to the Ukrainians. There was just a recent package announced. There's going to be another one coming soon to make sure that Ukraine is in the best position they can to succeed on this battlefield. But just as critically, if and when this goes to negotiations, and I've seen all the comments about what might be negotiated and when and by whom, but if and when it goes to negotiations, Mika, we want to make sure that President Zelensky is in the strongest possible position, that he has the strongest hand to play.
His thoughts right now on its implications for Iran, which we know has been weakened. Its proxies have taken so many hits in recent months, and it's a regime itself that appears unsteady. What's the U.S. assessment?
Our assessment is exactly that, Jonathan, that, and the president spoke about that, too, yesterday. Iran is in a much more weakened, much more distracted space than it's ever been before. Their so-called axis of resistance just keeps falling, one card after the other. Hamas is decimated. Hezbollah is now on a ceasefire with Israel. And now, of course, Assad is gone. So they're looking at the world. They're looking at their world, certainly in the region. And they are knowing that they are in a much weaker position than they've ever been before. And so what they do next, we're going to be watching closely, obviously, and seeing. But it's hard to imagine them being able to reassert their influence in quite the same way that they have in the past. And again, that's a real testament to the kind of involvement and engagement and support that the United States has been giving to Israel in their fight against Hamas there in Gaza, but also to Ukraine in beating back Russia.